Hello. Hi. Today, we're going to do a cooking stream. Still setting up a few things. My counter's a complete mess. And also, this camera's probably okay. I'm going to be making some fish pasta stuff. I don't know if there's a name for this. I'm just kind of going to experiment and see what happens. I'm going to start with some peppers and onions, probably cook those down. I need to turn that off so that that's not buzzing in your ear. My setup is so janky right now. My laptop's over here. My mic is here. My camera stand is over there. My phone with the chat is wedged in between my mic and the camera stand so that it stands up there. And then I just have all my cooking stuff scattered everywhere. Yeah. I think we're going to start with onions and peppers. I want to cook those down nicely, because they're going to be the base of this sauce that I'm going to make. So let me start heating this up. Cut some onion. And this is going to be a fish pasta. I have some barramundi. I have a whole bag of this because my friend gave it to me, because they're whenever I cook fish it doesn't turn out right, so you can take this and give it a shot. And I said okay. I like to cook fish sometimes, but I've never cooked this particular fish, and I don't know exactly how it tastes. It's a white fish, but it's got a little color to it. I don't know if it's because it's really what I want for this kind of pasta. Because last time I made a similar pasta with cod, that was good. Uh-oh. Have to run that a bit. But we'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. And I don't need to cut this super fine. Just there we go. Ah, spicy. Ah. That'll do. There's the onion. I want to just get a good amount of olive oil in there. Let that start cooking the pan a bit. Next, I need to make sure I'm not doxing myself when I walk over here. I need some bell pepper. Start with the green bell pepper. Use like half of this. I don't need the whole thing here. This also don't want to cut too fine, just chop it up a bit. that. Really not a whole lot of work to this. I don't know. This might not be very long of a stream. I gotta get these maintenance guys to take a look at my stove at some point, because it's got like a tilt to it. Let's cut off a little bit too much there. This I'm gonna cut a little wider, not quite as thin. There's this part in the front will get cut a little thinner, but that's fine. And then there's a big one. I don't really need that much. I need to clean this thing. It smells like something's burning inside the thing. Okay. Go ahead and start all this. I'm going to let those cook down a while. Put that over there so I don't forget it. And then I'm going to throw in a few red chilies. These are not spicy. These are very mild. The package says medium hot, but honestly I have cooked with a few of these and got like almost no heat out of them. But I'm not really looking for a lot of spice right here anyway. So I'm still gonna clean them up a little bit. Just to get that center portion out. My hand in there staying over there. It's good enough. Hopefully I don't end up committing chemical warfare on myself. I don't really know. You can avoid that if you want to, stir fry hot peppers. You just kind of accept that you're gonna bomb yourself with capsaicin. Again, I'm not going to cut these super fine. this moving. The heat is a little high, but I'm gonna let that maybe turn it down in a little bit. Not just yet. Hopefully I didn't get like the one spicy pepper in that whole pack and I regret this later. We'll see. Okay, that's most of the work. Now it's just letting these peppers and onions cook down. I should cut some parsley first. What else do I need? I need parsley and I need garlic. Let me work on this garlic a little bit. Oh. Hopefully the audio is okay. I haven't used my laptop in a little while. I had to reconfigure a bunch of stuff. And this thing is... something's always wrong with it. At this point, it's a fucking dinosaur. It's 10 years old. I really need to just factory reset it at some point. But I've been lazy about it because it still just barely works. And I really only ever use it for like watching anime on my TV. Ugh. Oh man. A bad piece of garlic in there. Garlic that started to go bad is one of like the nastiest smells. I almost never see bad garlic though. I feel like last few times I've bought garlic, for some reason it's gone bad pretty quickly. I'll throw some salt in there. Did I toss another? No, this is nasty. Oops. This piece looks okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm not gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna really wait long enough to caramelize these onions. Just once they start to brown a little bit, that's probably when I will throw the next part in there. Shit, I should have... Let me peel this first. I've got plenty of time still, though. Those are going to cook for some time while I peel this garlic here. See, this one's starting to go. Most of the time with garlic, you can just cut the bad parts out unless it smells bad. Oh, let me get one more small piece. Ah. One more. Hello. Hi. Barramundi is a fish. It's a fish from like from the eastern oceans, I think, somewhere in Asia. I've never cooked with it before, so I don't really know how it tastes. But I'm gonna try making a pasta with it. Because it's like a white fish, so it should work. There we go. That's good enough. Okay. I'm not going to cut this garlic just yet. Oh, wow. Best viewers on Stream Boo. That's so cool. Get out of here. These still have quite a bit of time, which is good. I want to cut the parsley. Hopefully this parsley is okay. It's a little old. It smells okay. Use a little more. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Maybe I should just use all of it. I'm probably going to throw it out if I don't use it today anyway, so... I'll just use the rest of this. There. some of these. Do you like cooking, or it's just to survive? I do like cooking. It's fun. I like to experiment with things and, you know, see what kind of things I can make. Sometimes I'm lazy, but typically on Saturday and Sunday, I'll cook a bunch of food and then, you know, package that, have leftovers for the week. And then maybe one more time during the weekdays I'll cook if I need to. After 30 minutes we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I enjoy it. I find it relaxing when I'm not trying to do too many things at once. I mostly cook pretty simple things. The only part of cooking I don't like is cleaning up after. That part's annoying. Nice model, thank you. It is stuck with the mouth open right now because of the noise from the cooking. But yeah, I like the chopping and the actual cooking part. The cleaning up is annoying. But it's worth it to make something that I like, something that, you know, feels good to eat after. I should have left some of this on the side to like garnish it later, but I guess it's whatever. This is a little bit more annoying if you want to like cut herbs real fine. But you don't have to be super precise. I think people get scared of cooking sometimes because they think they have to be like precise and exact, but you can just kind of figure things out. My nickname, Venentine? You know, I wish I had an interesting story. Oops. But it really is just like random. I don't even remember exactly where I got it. I think it was for like a Dungeons and Dragons character originally. And it was just like a random name off of some website. But I thought it sounded cool. And so I've stuck with it. And it has like a pretty unique sound, I guess. Okay, I am making a mess everywhere. Let me move this aside for now. You'd have to. Sometimes that happens, yeah. You have to prepare. You have to buy enough beforehand. Okay, I'm going to move this aside. It's okay if there's still some on the board here because that's going to season the fish. Right. Onion is starting to cook nicely. I can see some black on the pepper. Pepper is starting to have that nice roasty smell. So this is all cooking well. Now for the fish, which is annoying because I can't touch anything for a while. This out from there. This one, I have to touch it, guys. Good. There we go. Get up from there. These pieces are kind of weird shaped. This is why I picked these for the pasta. These pieces don't look like they'd be good for a fillet or something. They're like really thin at one end. Got this as dry as I can get it. I'm gonna get some parsley on there, but that's fine. Albania, yeah, my father's from Albania. So I grew up speaking Albanian and English. And then I studied some Spanish in school and some Japanese. But my Spanish is bad. I completely forgot all my Spanish. But I can still speak Japanese okay. Decent amount. I'm going to go with some salt, pepper, I guess I don't really need the garlic beans, so I'm putting that. Some paprika. Paprika is going to blacken nicely when I sear this. Give it a good char. And then some thyme. I think I will not use oregano this time. Same on the other side, salt. Pepper. paprika. And some thyme. Ready to hear I'm not good at Japanese? I don't know, I had a lot of space between my college classes for learning. I did a lot of, I studied like literature in college, a lot of writing stuff in my early college. And a mix of like cinema and computer science programming. Okay, so now I'm going to move all this aside here. Spanish they made you learn. They made me learn in like middle school, high school. And then because I'd already learned a little bit, I learned a little more in college. To like finish my language requirement. And then I learned Japanese on top of that just for fun. Hello. Hi, Hungry. I'm Venentine. Nice to meet you. Now I am in America. I'm in the US of A. I need butter. Yeah, my father moved to America, so I grew up here. I go back to Europe in the summer sometimes. We still have family over there. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to keep the butter mostly to this side over here. I'm going to use that butter to sear the fish. Okay, now I'm going to just chop some garlic roughly. This doesn't really need to be chopped well. I'm gonna leave some pieces here. So, wash my hands again. Okay. Turn up this heat a tiny bit. Put that on the other side. A couple of minutes. And I'm gonna actually I want to put that fish aside. It's done. Give me a second here. I need to. Oh, that's my phone. I need to clean up here a little bit. It's fine. Ah! There we go. Okay. I'm gonna put the fish aside. I'm going to throw in the garlic. Oh, fuck. And the parsley. And I want to make sure these cook on the heat for 30 seconds. And that's just going to release the aromatics. The parsley especially, you want to make sure you fry it a little bit. It's going to really give it like a nice sweetness, a sweet herbiness to it. What do I do professional? I'm a software engineer, computer programming for mostly web development stuff. Okay, there we go. And now you're going to start to smell that sweetness from the parsley. I'm going to add some flour. So however much butter you add, I added a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to add now a tablespoon of flour. I'm going to try to add it kind of slow and keep mixing it. Now, stir that until the smell from the flour is gone. Ask me about something in IT. Well, programming's a little different from IT, but sure. Okay. Now, I'm going to put in some canned tomatoes. little water to keep the stuff at the bottom of the pan there. And mix those in. And then I'm going to add this smells okay. Yeah. I'm going to add some white wine. And you want to scrape off any burnt stuff on the pan. Just clean up the pan nicely. I'm going to pull all that flavor into the sauce here. There we go. And when you cook the flour and the butter together a little bit, and then you add a sauce, it's what gives that nice silky consistency, that nice roux. Look at what a nice sauce this is. I don't know how well you can really see that. And then I'm just going to put the fish back in this. And I'm going to, break up the fish into the sauce. Yeah, this fish has smaller, I don't know how you call it exactly. It's not like cod. When I cooked this with cod, it broke off into nice big pieces. This fish is like falling into lots of small pieces, but should still be good. We'll see. Mix all that together. Oops. I'm going to season with some basil on top of this. If you have fresh basil, you can chop that and put it in with the same time as the parsley. Hi, Naz. I don't know how to read Cyrillic, unfortunately. I do need to learn sometime. One of these days. Okay, now that's all. Doing that, I'm gonna cook some pasta. Can put that aside. Turn that heat up here. Grab this. That's all going to sit. Flavors are going to merge nicely. Feet. You guys might catch a couple glimpses as I move around. I am from the US, yes. Let me clean up a couple things here. Move these over here. Put those away later. Flour. Yep, now something inside there is burning. Yeah, I'm from the US. My father is Albanian, from Macedonia, from like the northern Macedonia region. Our family's been there for, I don't know, however long, hundreds of years. And then my mom is American. She's from Massachusetts. And I grew up in the US my whole life, but I spent some summers as a kid in Macedonia, which I'm very grateful that I was able to do, because being able to see, like as an American, being able to actually go and see how people lived in a poor country like that, I think was very good for me as a kid. I understood how good my life was in America compared to people in this poor country who are like literally don't have electricity. I can put this away now, I think. I always make a mess when I'm cooking on stream because I'm so distracted. I mean, I make a mess anyways because I'm clumsy, but I make even more of a mess. There we go. That'll do. Now we just wait for that water to boil. Linguine. So I really should learn a little Macedonian, because if I ever want to go to my dad's hometown and help out my family over there, if I want to take care of his old house over there, anything like that, I'm gonna have to talk to Macedonians. And in his city there's a majority Albanian population, but there's still a lot of Macedonians who don't speak any Albanian. And it has gotten me in trouble a couple of times. There's one time where I was buying groceries, and I left the store, and the guy is like following after me, yelling at me in Macedonian, and I'm trying to like understand what he wants. And I follow him back. Eventually, he's like pointing to something in my bag, and I'm like, oh, okay, I forgot to pay for something. Like I accidentally picked something up that it wasn't paid for. See how this. I'm curious how this sauce will come along once it's cooled down. It looks nice and thick. I was worried it would be too thin. It's looking good. It smells very good. I'm always worried with canned tomatoes that the sauce is going to be too acidic, especially when I'm adding wine. But I find if I add parsley, that usually offsets it with a nice sweetness. Maybe he'll understand me in Japanese. Unlikely. People in that part of the world they don't tend to learn, well, I don't know, because like my dad learned Serbian and Greek and Albanian and Macedonian. But like he didn't learn English until he came to America. Need some water. I need to make a better habit of studying Japanese. I can understand a decent amount, but I need more. Oh god, oh no. Hi Bit. I'm so sorry everyone. Actually, I don't know what this is gonna. Oh no, sorry. You got scammed actually. I'm on my laptop and I didn't put Sammy on here. So I'll have to refund you later. Whoopsies. I really should turn redeems off when I'm doing cooking streams, because my laptop is... I don't have Sammy on there. And I'm too lazy to install it, and I don't trust that it's not going to explode something. My laptop is struggling enough as it is. We're just waiting for water to boil right now. I pretty much am done. I made this like fish and tomato sauce. No violin either, sorry. I wish I had. You know what I can do actually? Hold on, I'll get your violin. I have to look away from chat for a bit though. Wait. There you go. Okay, I'm back on chat. Water takes so long to boil. I should try a little bit of this actually. Make sure that it's decent. Okay. You see that there? Oh, it did come out kind of spicy. That's good though. Came out very nice, perfectly seasoned. The fish is nice and tender and not overcooked. See it but can't taste it, scam number 2. True. What do they call it? They have a word for that in Japanese. They say food terrorism. For like, you know, showing food to somebody that makes them hungry. Oh, we're getting bubbles. We're almost there. I'm getting really hot standing next to this stove. And my hot laptop on the other side. Oh, you had a question? Okay. Want to change my job? Mm-hmm. Oh. Study manual QA. Oh. I don't really know how people get into a QA job. There's probably more demand for that than there is programming, but the pay varies a lot more. But it is a very good to get into. But I don't really know what you study for a QA job. Because it's not like they expect as much like technical expertise, right? For I dropped something in the other thing there. Right, like it's not like you'd learn a programming language. You probably do want to learn automation, testing automation with JavaScript or you know some other framework that uses maybe Playwright or Selenium. And if you learn testing automation, you can also use those same skills to go into scripting. You can develop simple bots. Like the thing that we use for testing automation, Playwright. The same program I used in a C# application, .NET application that basically goes to a website and like scrapes and it inserts data into that website to automate some data entry process. So there's a lot of overlap to things like that. SQL API, yeah. Alright, AI, I don't know too much. I'm not the kind of person who's like very into AI. It's cool, it helps a lot sometimes. I don't trust a lot of it. I think there's a lot of overhead, a lot of bloat that's associated with it. But definitely learning to use Claude Code in your workflow could be very helpful. Python would be good. SQL, learning at least a little NoSQL like MongoDB. MongoDB is popular right now, I think. Postman is a good tool for using APIs, and you can automate a lot of. Well, yeah, Postman I think is the main thing that our manual QA uses for API QA, because you can set up environments in there and you can set up collections of tests, and you can run like a whole collection of tests at once. Okay. I'm just gonna dump all this pasta in there. This is linguine. Ow. How long is it supposed to cook? 10 to 11 minutes. So we're gonna undercook it a little bit. We're gonna cook it for probably 8 or 9 minutes. And then I'm gonna move it into the sauce over there. And it's gonna finish cooking over there. And that'll let us heat everything up again back to a nice temperature. A little bit of salt in there. But yeah, Postman is a very important tool. If you learn to use that, it will make QA a lot easier. Brain is too barramundi. Yeah, QA is a little simpler. It's more, you don't have to learn as much about like programming, solving logic puzzles, things like that. It's more about learning different tools, knowing how to use those tools to make your job efficient. And then of course it's coming up with test cases, having good note-taking ability, being able to organize your notes and ideas. But it is a difficult job. You know, to try and cover everything with testing. And then depending on the kind of job you get, you know, people may be rushing you. Hurry up, get this through QA. Just test this, push it ahead. And then something goes wrong and blame still comes back to you. But yeah, knowing how to analyze a problem as well, so that it's not just this bug happens and then you send it back to the developer, right? You have to look to a degree of like, okay, what's the API response? Is it an API or a UI issue? If it's a UI issue, you know, where exactly is the issue? Is it maybe a validation issue? Is it a data issue? Is it really an issue, or is it, you know, an edge case that's outside of the expected behavior? Or, you know, does it require a meeting with the product owner to discuss how should the application handle this scenario? I don't know if I would say easy. It's not really easy or harder. It's just a somewhat different skill set, somewhat different type of work, but it's still going to be difficult. It's equally difficult to programming, in my opinion. And even as a programmer, you know, like maybe a quarter of my job is doing QA anyways, because I have to unit test my solution. I have to validate my code before I push it into testing and send it to QA to minimize them sending it back to me as much as possible. And you know, my job is a lot of communication of like, okay, I'm working on this code, but I notice because this data comes from here or this data comes from there, there's going to be some issue, and I need to communicate that to the product and say, how do you want to handle this? Or maybe if we make this data on a separate tab, then it will be easier for the user, things like that. Put some of this away. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. It depends what kind of work you think you would enjoy doing. Yeah, I get that from a few people. That's always funny. I mean, it's the same for me when I listen to Japanese streamers. You know, I like to listen to them and get some practice and try to communicate a little bit. That's good. Your English is better than my Japanese, I'll say that. Yeah, I mean, with your you have pretty good English, I think. I work with a lot of people in India. I have an offshore team. Some of them can really like barely speak English, but they manage. I have one guy I work with. He's like impossible to understand. I've worked with him for 3 years. I have not understood more than like 5 words that he has said, because he like mumbles, he stutters a lot, he doesn't seem to really have good vocabulary. But somehow after 3 years, like he talks to me and I'm like, okay, I understand what he's trying to say. Like I've learned to kind of figure out the way he talks somehow. I'm losing track here. I don't remember how long I've been cooking this pasta. Oh, whoops. Okay. Sorry if you hear some bumping on the mic. I'm checking some things. No. Okay, I gotta pick up my phone. Yeah, speaking daily conversation versus technical, it requires a little more intense study. Like that's my Japanese. I maybe I'm okay with casual stuff in Japanese, but any sort of technical conversation, or if I need something specific, there's no hope. Even with Albanian, I'm not that good. Okay, I'm gonna give this just another. Okay, perfect. Should be good enough. Move this over here. Turn down this heat. Okay. I'm gonna drain this, but not quite all the way. to. Hold on a second. That's going to go in there. Just a little bit of that pasta water. Because that starchy water is going to bring together this sauce even more. There's maybe a little too much pasta here for the amount of sauce that I have, but that's fine. I'm going to try and mix this all together now. It should continue to cook a little bit on this low heat. Yeah, this linguine is gonna pull together the sauce nicely. It feels kind of soft. I maybe overcooked it a little bit, but should be okay. It'll still taste good. Oh, that's heavy. And there we go. There's our finished product. Nice fish pasta. Should make some garlic bread actually before I finish up. Gonna make a little garlic bread while that continues to cook. Eating a book, taking the course, teaching key terms. Yeah, I don't know. That thing is difficult. At a certain point, there's not much you can do except just repeat, repeat over and over as much as you can. Some of this bread here. I'm just gonna make one big piece. That'll be good for today. You gotta be careful. My throat's starting to go hoarse. Careful spreading this so I don't tear the bread. Put a little bit of butter on. Go. That should be good enough. Can also bake. Baking is like easier than cooking 90% of the time. I'm gonna be real. Excuse me. I do like to make. I make banana bread blueberry muffins. A lot of simple things. You can just mix stuff and then throw it in a pan and then bake it. You don't have to be like super precise with measurements or like, whip anything. For this, I'm just taking some bread, putting some garlic powder and some Parmesan cheese on top. This is my hack garlic bread. And put that under the fire here for a bit. I gotta be careful because that'll burn very fast. Is that like 30 seconds or something? My water is over here. It's good. I'm gonna get plenty of that. I'm hungry. A little more time on this. Okay, we're just about done. Just waiting on my garlic bread to finish. That's a lot of pasta. A little more. I like it just a little bit burnt around the edges. A little bit black. I don't have any nice wine to drink, unfortunately. Here we go. How do I? Itadakimasu. I'll mail you some. Just put your full name and address in chat. I'll send you some by mail. I've got some fish, some sauce. That's perfect. And the sauce covers the noodles nicely. It's just the right amount of spice, actually. I was not sure how much spice I would get from those peppers. You figured me out. Let me dip some of this in the sauce over here. Oh, it's hot. Sure. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna go eat my dinner. Thank you guys for keeping me company. It was very nice. I will see you eventually. I might stream later tonight. Maybe some more Cult of the Lamb. We'll see. Wow. I don't have my... Wait, I can't actually look. What was that? Oh, thanks for the follow. Alright. Bye-bye. See you guys next time.